Holy moly. Josh is here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, he's 5 minutes early. He is 5 minutes early. Let me turn on my microphone. Josh, hello. How is it going? So we have. I'm just gonna pull this here so that you guys can see. This is Josh talking to us, and I am so excited. Josh, you have absolutely no pressure to show your face. Let me know.
Me, by the way, now.
I am ecstatic. Hold on, wait. I just want to be able to move this slightly, so I want to crop this so that it doesn't take up so much of my face. And then I'm ready to talk because how is it going, man? How are you doing today?
It's been a pretty rough day, actually, because I think you saw my posts regarding everything I've done, everything I've posted within the last few days.
Yes.
There was a lot of controversial surrounding my persona. Yeah, I've did my final DD now. I've posted it. And apart from that, as I said, I want to step back from all the action and just watch from the sidelines now. But yeah, apart from that, everything's been going fine.
Much deserved. It's amazing to have you on here, and I'm so sorry, first of all, that you've been receiving crazy threats, that you've been giving us good research, and some people kind of conflate what it means for someone to give you research and for someone to give you like a surefire prediction. So
Yeah.
it means a lot that you're willing to jump into the limelight here and talk to us directly. I'm sure a lot of us have questions. I'm going to be watching the live stream, live chat to make sure that when people have a question that's really interesting, we can jump right into it. But the first question that people have already started asking, Rachel Gates Smith asked this already, is what do you think about that AI? It's number one on your list of things.
There's no specific reason for it being number one on my list. I actually just put it there when I had my brainstorm, and it stayed there. So the AI is actually, in my opinion, the least trustable source for all this, because it's just a computer program based on all the data it has, and on some calculation it's going to make itself. So it shouldn't be trusted. I just put it in there because it was interesting to see, and I calculating like a proper number, and with all the data we have available. But I wouldn't rely on it that much, honestly.
Great, that's what I thought too. In that case, since they are in no particular order, what would you order in terms of the most compelling evidence out of the 8 points?
Oh Jesus! Okay, let me open up my DD.
Let me, while he prepares, I'm also going to put his DD side by side so you guys can see it. Let's see, that is it. It's a little too big. I'm gonna make it smaller, and then I'm just gonna cover Josh in case he wants to show his face eventually. I'm gonna cover him for now. Actually, that's not a good idea. I'll just put it here. Perfect.
Okay, let me. My DD is so long. I've got to scroll through like 20 times.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, number one for me would be, I think, the ETF.
Okay.
If I'd have to decide, it would be the ETF actually, and behind that it would be the naked short activity within the last few days.
I would also put the ETF really high. Now, you did mention a couple of ways that the ETF does not actually have to cover, and you mentioned that. Let me scroll up to it. So you mentioned that March 19th is the XRT rebalance day, right? And I'm looking at this here. XRT releases dividends every 3 months. And the last one was December 21st, 2020. Estimated next payout is around March 20th. Okay, so that's something that I also covered myself in a past video. Then you have a caveat down here, quoting the user Gamer of NHL, that yes, shorts can avoid covering by directly paying XRT amount of money due for dividends. But would you mind explaining the but after that?
Let me read it really quick. Okay, by the way, two things. Just a disclaimer. I'm really nervous, so
oh, of course.
If I get lost in words, don't hang me on them, please.
Oh, of course not. This is not a grill here. I'm just a random guy. I am literally just a random guy, and this is what I keep trying to show people, is that my occupation might be data scientist, but I have I have absolutely like nothing more in terms of research and wrinkly brainness than these other awesome apes that are in the chat right now.
The funny thing is, I actually watched all of your videos. Okay, not all of them, but most of your live streams within the last few days.
Wow.
So I just tuned in today after turning off Reddit and telling my family, yeah, I'll be there for you now. And then I saw myself. So yeah, now I'm here.
That's
just
cool.
Want a quick shout out to my wife at that point.
Yes.
Watching right now.
She's watching right now. Hey, how's it going, Josh's wife? I hope Josh's wife's boyfriend is also watching.
He is actually with me right now.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're getting along.
Okay. Apart from that, to answer your question, what was your question again?
Yes. So one of the most important parts of the XRT posting its dividends in 3 months is that we are expecting that they are going to play by the rules and have to cover their shorts prior to that, right? But
yeah, that is good.
There is a but afterwards in your own DD. Shorts can avoid covering by paying XRT the money of due for dividends. But, and what is that but? It's tax-based incentives, right?
That is correct. Yeah. I don't know what more I can explain to other what I wrote there, but maybe I can put it in my own words.
Yeah.
As I said there, it's actually a quote of the dude I quoted there. Shout out to him. And yeah, basically. XRT has paid out dividends at specific dates, as you can see in the list above.
Right.
There's always a set date. Last date was 21st of December, so this one's going to be 20th of March, because that's a weekend. It's going to be the last business day within the week, so it's going to be a Friday, which is March 19th again.
Right.
And for the taxes, I actually got a lot of help by many people, because it's an American tax system, so I didn't know it because I'm from Germany.
Right.
To try to put it in my own words right now. Okay, let me read it out really quick.
If you guys are just joining, we have the author of this Endgame DD. It's the one we've been waiting for a long time. He's been covering the GameStop situation pretty darn comprehensively for the last week. And Josh, or otherwise known as HeyItsPixel, is with us right now on the live chat.
That is great.
The question that we're asking is, if the XRT date is one of the biggest reasons out of these like 7 or 8 reasons, then what kind of recourse do the hedge funds have? For example, the reason why I'm asking this question is hedge funds have a lot of money riding on this, right? What is to say that the tax incentives that would prevent them from covering their shorts actually outweigh the amount of money that they would actually lose?
Yeah, my thought process on this was actually a lot of things coming together. As I said, the naked shorting, then the XRT dividends,
right.
As well as the quadruple. Now I'm start losing words.
All good. Take your time. And those of you in the chat.
Witching day.
Witching day, right. Quadruple witching day. So those combined, yes, for sure. But just to focus on XRT specifically, which I have Josh's DD right here above my head. We're talking about how XRT needs to cover by a certain date. I even covered this myself in a video 2 weeks ago. However, the shareholders are forced by law to pay normal income tax rates as high as 40%, especially for people invested in ETFs. So on those dividends coming from the shorts compared to the range of 0 to 20%. If I understand this correctly, there's just this huge amount of tax incentive to cover these shorts before this date, right? But if they cover the shorts, the hedge funds that have shorted XRT is going to be out a lot of money. Are we assuming, because you, in the last sentence of this this part of the DD, you say, I wouldn't be surprised if the institutions controlling XRT force the squeeze themselves. So the institutions controlling XRT are going to work against the hedge funds shorting XRT?
That would be my guess in all of this, because XRT or any ETF has to put their customers first. And XRT's customers invented because, as you know, ETFs are seen as a pretty safe investment and as a passive investment. So you just invest into an ETF, you do nothing all year long, and you just get money by it. Usually between 4 to 7% per year. So if XRT wants to actually satisfy the customers, they would put the customers and their own safety of their ETF above the hedge funds. I know hedge funds have a lot of influence and a lot of money, but they could actually set off the short squeeze by forcing hedges to cover, because as you've seen in my DD, they actually stocked up on GME. It's 10% of the whole portfolio now. So they're actually making a lot of money by this right now, because the GME price driver is driving up the price of XRT as well. So as I said, in conclusion, to satisfy the customers and to be a stable ETF after all this mess is over, they would have to force the hedge funds to cover their shorts on this specific date, because otherwise the ETF would be losing lots of money, lots of customers, and I think no one would invest in that ETF anymore. So it would basically become dead if they didn't do it. So that was my whole thought process behind it.
Roger that. Okay, so we just asked Josh, or HeyItsPixel, the author of this Endgame GameStop DD, about his opinion on the most important part of all of these 7 or 8 points, pointing to March 19th. XRT, what are the incentives of the institutions controlling XRT and the institutions, the hedges that are actually shorting it? Can they actually work against each other? Almost 3,000 of us watching, no pressure. I'm going to ask a couple of questions from the live chat. Take your time to understand them. If you don't have an opinion, that's also okay. Brendan McNamara says, please add Josh Andrew more money. Explain how it is if GME goes high enough that SEC will not step in because of volatility and then correct for market inefficiencies in favor of hedges. Have you thought about that?
I thought about that actually. There's obviously that hasn't happened before ever. Like what's happening right now with GME is probably the only time it's going to be happen ever, because there's going to be a lot of new regulations after this. But right now, the SEC never stepped in, never said anything. They're just watching by the sidelines for what now? I think 4 weeks. 4 weeks prior to today, they made an announcement that they're actually investigating all of this. But they actually sided with the hedge funds on that. They said that we're going to investigate, but we're going to investigate social media for manipulation. Hedge funds are not manipulating by social media, so they're actually investigating retail investors. That caused a lot of outrage for politicians, for congressmen, congresswomen, siding with retail. So what I think is this is the only time in history we'll see a lot of normal working class people become really rich within a few days. If SEC is going to step in this time and are hindering people to become rich for the first time in generations in their families, that would actually create probably the biggest political outrage in the whole, I don't know, it's in the history of the US probably. Like, if they would step in now, they never stepped in when hedges manipulated GME, but if they step in when retail starts winning money, and then they say, okay, we're going for a price correction, we're holding the trade on GME indefinitely because of volatility, they would actually create probably the biggest political outrage. Maybe, I don't want to call it a civil war, but maybe a civil war, maybe occupy Wall Street with more violence, because they would actually expose the whole system is rigged against retail. But retail is the majority of people in this country. So if the majority would step up because of this unfairness, SEC could never even handle it. That's just my opinion.
I will say that you're sounding more and more like a general every time we're calling on people to rise up. But that's a very good in-depth understanding of how the SEC could actually play with this. You feeling comfortable? You feeling loosey-goosey? Want to keep this light? Let's see. We have another question. We have Jeremiah Peacock saying that Uncle Bruce speculated a while ago that GameStop could issue dividends and put even more pressure on the shorts. Have you considered that?
I did consider it. I actually consulted with many people. We tried to find a date, but it's not set yet. The annual shareholder meeting is probably at the start of June. So shares are going to be called back at around April. I didn't want to speculate. I didn't want to make false promises, because a back of the shares would actually start the short squeeze, because then you would see how many synthetic shares are on the market, how many counterfeit shares are on the market, and shorts would have to cover by then if they would call back the shares to calculate the dividends. So I never wanted to speculate, so I didn't put it in my DD. But if you look at other years, it's set for June already. No specific date yet, but the shares should get called back at around April. So considering that March 19th was my thought where the rocket is going to take off, it could actually last for more weeks, because if the shares get called back at like start of April or middle of April, and we're still in this mess by then that would expose everything by that point. So it's getting more and more clear that around that time span of 19th March, plus a few weeks maybe, it has to happen. Because there's just so many catalysts, as I listed them in my DD, and it didn't even include the shareholder meeting, where the shares are always getting called back prior to that. So if they call back the shares, there's just no way out. That's my thought.
Really good thoughts. People are saying that you sound really nice. People are saying that you sound like Elon as well. I think that's a compliment.
Thank you.
And this is Josh. Is this your first time in public, like talking to people using your voice and stuff?
I actually had a few, I don't know how you call it in English, because I'm from Germany. Right. I had a bit of voice training back in the days, because I was a radio moderator when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
We had some projects, because with 12 years old, I actually had a pretty deep voice. And we had a project in our school that gave people with like extraordinary voices and extraordinary skills in their voice the chance to use them and maybe become like voice actors or radio moderators full time. So I actually was in radio in Germany a couple of times, but that was like I don't know, 15 years ago or something. So
that's so cool. Well, you guys are currently talking to 12-year-old prodigy Josh. HeyItsPixel. He's from Germany. He is talking to us. His shout out to his wife. It's a really good time. We're just having a couple of questions. If you do have questions, throw it in the live chat. I'm going to pick out some of the ones that are well formed, including the one from Akhil Patel. He says, shouldn't monthlies have more volume than weeklies? That's how it always is. Did you look back to previous month's call and put volume?
I did look back to them, and they're obviously higher because, as you said, they're always higher. But it's never been that high. As I said, as an example, the SPY puts alone were tens of thousands on March 19th, was it? Yeah, March 19th. And a lot of other shares have that as well. Obviously, as you mentioned, they're always a bit higher. But if you compare them to this time, it could be because of the quadruple witching day. I don't know. But as I said, even if it's because of the quadruple witching day, because all four markets close at that time, it's another catalyst. So it doesn't matter what the reason behind it is. It just matters that it's going to happen. So that's my thought on that.
Gotcha. I think that is pretty. It's a very well articulated question and a well articulated answer as well. Let's go to one from Andy Chi. He says, with the whole situation that might crash the stock market system, what are the chances that the market makers to side with the hedge funds to just make naked shorts disappear? In quotes.
Could you repeat that, or could I wait for the live stream until I see the question?
Yes.
Because I was actually reading comments, sorry.
Oh, no worries. They're all very positive. You're a well-loved individual on this channel. All 3,000 of you. Make sure to give Josh your positive feedback right now in the live chat. Yeah,
I really appreciate it. I'm reading all the comments right now. My wife actually just texted me as well. They're watching. My wife's boyfriend as well. So
wife's boyfriend chilling with you right now.
He's now my wife, so maybe on my wife, I don't know. But could I take a break in like 10 minutes? Because
absolutely.
my little brother's over. He's only 9 years old, and I've got to put him to sleep because it's like 10:30 already.
So you know what?
10:50.
You know what everyone would love is that I want to live stream again tomorrow. So in 10 minutes, go ahead, go put him to sleep. And if you are free tomorrow, let's set up a time and let's keep this conversation going because everyone's really excited about Monday's open.
Oh yeah, sure. I would like to. I would like to.
Awesome. In that case, let's see if we can answer Andy Chi's question. So he says it's a pretty controversial question, but with the whole situation that might crash the stock market system, what are the chances that the market makers decide with the hedge funds to just make naked shorts disappear?
Let me read that. I was reading comments again. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
A lot of people are spamming my name, and the whole chat is just orange the whole time.
Josh.
With the whole situation that might crash the stock market system, what are the chances that market makers decide with the hedge funds to just make issuance disappear? Oof. I mean, I call myself the Nostradamus of GME, but that's a tough question.
Well, in that sense, we'll skip it, but just know that in a crazy world, this could be a possibility as well. Let me see if I have another one after.
Definitely. It is a possibility. I'll get back to that. I'll save that one and maybe answer it tomorrow.
Sounds good. Okay, so you heard that. He's going to answer that question tomorrow if he has more thoughts about it. Luke Combs asked, hey, can you please ask Josh if shares were sold naked short from 128 to February 1st and the hedge funds had 21 days to settle, then Monday, March the 1st would be 21 days. Would this cause mass covering Monday through Wednesday?
If true, it would, yes.
Okay. A couple of people were also talking earlier before you showed up about March 5th having tens of thousands of expiring contracts as well. So because there's so many other reasons why March 19th is the date to beat, do you think that it could actually happen earlier based on the other contracts?
I actually think, yeah, but I would have to take a look at when those contracts got put in place because that would tell everything. Like if they get put into place, let's say yesterday, it could have just been because of the hype, because people were expecting the rocket to take off last week. But if they were put into place, let's say 1 week prior to right now, that would change the whole situation. So I would have to take a look into that. I'm saving that one as well, answering tomorrow in detail. But yeah, it would definitely cause mass covering, if true.
If true, you heard it here first. Quick Adric is asking, Josh, what's your favorite crayon color flavor?
Green.
Green. Oh, he has it.
Because for a couple of weeks, I haven't seen that color when I looked at my portfolio. So
that's
I just
fair.
ate it.
You really did eat a crayon. You heard it here. Josh does like the green crayons. It makes him feel like the portfolio is also green. .gov says, can you shed some light on why the market is readjusting? We see GME still in green. Speculation is that market makers are removing their positions in the market to cover the GME squeeze. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, that is actually one of my predictions I've made as well, and my assumptions rather, because especially if you look at the tech market right now, a lot of hedge funds have a lot of holes in the tech market. And every time GME had a big rise, I think they had to liquidate their assets in tech. So we saw one day actually Tesla drop from like, let me think, I think it was like $730 to $650 within just a day. And then it got back up instantly after. So I thought they were liquidating assets in order to prepare for to have to cover shorts. So I think they're always really close to having to cover, but they somehow weasel out of it every single time.
I think that as you were mentioning that, it makes sense that there's constantly going to be the same tricks if regulations don't actually make any changes, which is why the next congressional hearing is going to be a big one. I'm probably going to ask you a couple of questions tomorrow about what questions would you ask the CEOs next round. But I think all of the questions you've answered, I'm now just going to put two thoughts out there. One from Lord Weird. He's my moderator. He's doing a really good job. And he put a super chat in the live chat that says, Josh, please know that the vast majority of people are so grateful for the amount of work that you put into your DD. Win, lose, or draw, you are Maximus Decimus Meridius. We salute you, General. And I think a lot of people agree with that.
That is really nice. Yeah, thank you for that. That is actually really nice to hear, making me smile big time. Yeah, if I have a face cam right now, I'd activate it. But I think I'll have to just buy one. Oh no, it's Sunday tomorrow. I can get one.
If you feel safe in Germany, I think a lot of people would be excited to see your face. Of course, there's no pressure because of just how much heat there is when it comes to making these kinds of documents that people could try to blame you for. I said that I'm going to ask you a question about your dog in a second, but Dominic's is a person that's always been loyal to the chat. He has a question. Josh, would you say that the amount of $800 calls are bought up mostly by the hedgies so that they could buy GME at $800 a share instead of Infinity?
I actually think those $800 calls are from hedge funds, but not the ones you think about. In my opinion, they're not by Citadel, Melvin, etc., the shorties. They're done by the same, whoever it is, whichever institution it is, that set up the gamma squeeze last week, or this week it was. I think it was them, because those $800 calls have been there for a really long time, but they keep increasing the higher the price goes. So I think they actually did consider it could reach that price within a soon period of time. And chances are getting more likely within the day. I mean, especially if you look at next week, there could be a huge price spike up, but we can talk about that tomorrow in detail. But yeah, I actually think it's done by hedge funds, but not by the shorties.
Gotcha. Well, in that sense, let's make a date for tomorrow. What time works best for you? I'll try and wake up a little earlier so that you don't have to push your bedtime.
No, pushing my bedtime is it's okay. Let me think.
Yeah, no pressure. Those of you. Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to think in my head. I'm not going to talk. Sorry.
Oh, good. Those of you in the live chat, we are going to talk to the GME Endgame DD author more tomorrow. I want to know about your dog. You said you're taking care of him, so I want to know about dog owner to dog owner. Of course, Meatball is my mentor. I actually work for him. We have a lot to talk about. I'm very grateful that you spend this time to be super articulate. Like you said you were nervous, but honestly, you just jumped right into all these questions from a varying amount of different kinds of topics, and you have held your own. So I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for your time today, and I'll talk to you on Reddit to get you scheduled for tomorrow.
All right. Thank you so much for the time and giving me the opinion to let people get people to know me better, because on Reddit it's just a person with no face, no voice, putting out something, but actually being here and answering questions, showing myself that I'm not afraid to answer any questions. I'm not always right. That's why I always have like a huge disclaimer on all of my DD and all of my predictions, everything. I'm just a human being. I'm faulty at times. Nothing I do is perfect. So I want to get asked questions to see if I'm wrong. So I really appreciate all the questions. They don't have to be specifically regarding the shorts, regarding my DD. But yeah, I appreciate all of the questions. It was nice getting people to maybe hear my voice. I see a lot of people write my name in the chat. So I think it was received well, and I'm happy to do more of that in the future. So yeah.
I'm excited, man. I hear that radio 12-year-old inside you. Very well-spoken. People have questions for you, especially like, what's your favorite Haagen-Dazs flavor and stuff like that. So we'll have all those questions answered tomorrow. Thanks again for joining.
Thank you, and have a good night, or I don't know what the time is in the US right now, but I'm going to sleep.
Thank you. Have a good bedtime. Good night.
All right, see you, man. See ya.
See ya. You guys just heard Josh, the legendary man who told us exactly what is on his mind when it comes to DD for a cool Wall Street Bets shirts. You can get GME to the moon and other shirts like that I've worn in the past, and clicking the link down below for BlockFi will be able to start securely having your Bitcoin in one place, and it's a great price discount as well. And finally, that technical app that I use is Webull. Don't let the name wear out. Quit Robinhood and get on over to Webull with the description link down below as well. For now, but not for forever, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow, and I'm going to talk to Josh some more. Have a good time. Have a good day. Meatball, you got anything else to say? I think that's it. Love you guys. Have a great day. Peace.